My story is very much a journey of continual surrender. I like to describe my call to ministry as a leaky faucet. That is to say, if you've ever had a leaky faucet in your home, you know you can ignore it for a little while, but eventually it just drives you bonkers, right? Well, I was able to ignore my call to ministry for a little while, and eventually I had to address it. I had to deal with it. I worked for several years as a firefighter. That was my dream job since I was a boy. It was everything I'd always wanted to do. I was really fortunate to be hired young, and so I had this dream job. One day I came to work, and I found that the thrill was just gone. The passion wasn't there anymore. Let's just say that God made it unmistakably clear that He wanted me elsewhere. So I really could identify with the story of Abraham and Isaac. You know, God had given me this thing that I wanted most of all. I was content. You know, God had given me what I wanted, and now God was asking me to give it back to Him. That was very difficult for me to accept, but accept it I did. And so I gave up my career with the fire department, and I started seminary, mainly because I wanted to learn to be a student of Scripture. You know, I love Scripture. Yet at that same time, I had not even a clue what God was calling me to do after I graduated. You know, it was as though I was wandering around in this dense fog. You know, I could see nothing that lay ahead for me beyond graduation. My calendar didn't go beyond the month of May. You know, it was wide open, and I had no clue. And that was, I can't begin to describe how frustrating that was for me. But I will say that it did keep me on my knees. But let's fast forward a couple of years. By the way, missions was nowhere on my radar at the time. But shortly before I graduated, Bob Creason visited my school and addressed the student body about Wycliffe and their ministry and their vision and values and so forth. And I really became curious about Wycliffe and about this whole idea of Bible translation as a possibility for me. And so shortly thereafter, I did graduate, and I attended Total It Up. Well, at the end of that week, this dense fog I had been living in for 6 years, you know, it lifted, and just like that. You know, the fog lifted. You know, all of a sudden, at long last, I could see how all the puzzle pieces fitted together, why God has wired me the way He has, why God has given me these passions but not these, and why He's given me these experiences but not these. I had total clarity. It all became clear to me. And so about a month later, I applied to Wycliffe, and I'm now looking forward to going to Papua New Guinea to begin my first role as a language program intern. You know, in a sense, my call to ministry involved an exchange, let's say. That is to say that when I was younger, I had this dream job. It was exciting. The pay was great. I had job security, you know, upward mobility, the whole 9 yards. I was really satisfied. And then God asked me to give up all of that. But in exchange for working day after day, laboring in the trenches, helping to build the kingdom. You know, it really is a fantastic trade-off. It really is. You know, and it all began several years ago when I prayed a very particular prayer. I mean, it was a very, very simple prayer. This was years and years ago, but it was a very, very simple prayer, and it was simply this: use me. Lord, I want you to use me. That's a really dangerous prayer, by the way. But I can't tell you, I got to tell you, you know, since that time, God has totally knocked my socks off. He has totally taken me on a ride that I never could have imagined for myself. And I can't wait to read the next chapter, whatever that might be, whatever He's got planned for me. Thank you.